Today, we're talking about the DJI Osmo. Welcome back guys, Max here, and today I have the DJI Osmo. So what is this thing? Overall, it's just a handheld 3-axis gimbal. And what is a 3-axis gimbal? It is a camera that has 3 pivot points that keeps it stable while you're shooting with it. So, as you're running around with it, all your shots stay really smooth and nice. It has a max shooting resolution of 4096 by 2160p at 24 frames per second, so that is true 4K. It also shoots at 120 frames per second in full HD for your nice slow motion shots. It has a 12 megapixel camera for JPEG or DNG RAW still photos. You can handle it with the camera and gimbal controls. It also has a Wi-Fi network for monitoring and remote control via your smartphone. You can do photo bursts up to 7 shots. It has regular and moving time-lapse modes and auto and self panorama modes. And with all that, it costs $650. So right out of the box, the Osmo comes with a couple different devices. First off, we have the battery charger, then the battery itself. Next up is a smartphone holder, the gimbal handle, and then the gimbal head itself. It also comes with a micro SD card for the camera itself and a handy dandy carrying case. Setting up the Osmo is pretty simple. All you have to do is attach the gimbal to the handle. It locks into place. Then we take our smartphone holder and we screw it into the side, and you position it however you'd like to get things going. And you charge your battery up for about an hour, and you pop that bad boy in, and then it's time to turn it on and set it up with your phone. So right on the side there's a little power button, and once you turn it on you can hear the beep. When you jump onto your phone, go to your settings, go to your Wi-Fi, and you look for the Osmo Wi-Fi network, and once it's connected you can pop your phone onto the holder. Really simple. Jump out, or assuming you've already downloaded the DJI Go app, you can jump in and start using your camera. Now the app itself is pretty self-explanatory. I mean, once you jump in, it's pretty obvious what the functions are, but to note, it is only for setting up your camera, monitoring, and reviewing footage, not actually recording anything. Most people think that the footage gets recorded to your phone, but it does not. It records internally on the camera's micro SD card. Now once the app and everything is synced up and ready to go, all you have to do is unlock your gimbal, and it's really simple. There's a little lock button on the side, you tilt the second joint forward and you tilt the camera back, and it will unlock and automatically rotate to position 1. It's really easy to control. Once your phone is all synced up, you can see what the camera sees. You can use this little joystick on the front of the handle to point the gimbal in any direction you'd like. When you're running around, you just hold the trigger on the front and the actual camera will stay in place for your lock mode. And if you've moved the camera around to a lot of weird places and you're kind of having trouble getting it back to 0 or pointing forward, you just double tap the trigger and the gimbal will reset to 0. Now if you're really feeling fun, you click the trigger 3 times and it goes to selfie mode. And you click the trigger another 3 times to go back to normal mode or forward facing mode. Now there's a big black button on the handle where you can click and it'll take a photo. And then there's the record button next to the joystick, which is a little button with a red dot. So how does this thing perform? At one point in time I did take this to a little hiking trail in the mountains, as you can see here, and I was literally climbing a mountain and this thing stayed stable. The battery lasted, I'd say, a good hour filming straight on. And yeah, it's really good. Do I recommend this camera for cinematic purposes and making movies? Probably not. More for recreational fun, going out with your friends. It's something you can throw in your girlfriend's purse, or in your purse, or just in your book bag, and just have it for whenever you need it. You're running around on the beach for a beach day, you pull this camera out, you run for a while, and you have it, and you get some cool footage. I kind of compare the footage to a GoPro footage. It's pretty sharp, but you can tell there's some visual compression because of how small the camera is and the memory card that you use. And being that it does come with a really small SD card, I recommend purchasing a larger micro SD card. So I got a 64 gig SD card to using the camera, so I can have pretty much all day recording, especially at 1080p, and I get a good bit of time at 4K, around 2 hours of footage, something like that. Lastly, as you can see, it doesn't perform that great in low light, but being such a small camera packed with all this resolution, it's only going to be used for fun activities, outdoors, in daylight. There's no reason to run around at night with this camera. Although you can see I did go down into a cave that got pretty dark, and the camera really did start to push itself to keep up with the light. As you can see, there's a lot of noise, but it was almost pitch black. So I think overall it performed pretty well. For the price, it's okay. I mean, knowing that most 3-axis gimbals are really expensive because they're usually mainly used as production workhorses and for really big budget films. But other than that, it's an amazing camera. But you can take this thing out, run around with it. It's a lot of fun to play with. It's super stable and smooth, although it does make a good bit of noise while you're recording. Although it doesn't really matter too much because the onboard audio in this camera is terrible. I don't recommend using this camera for audio purposes, but it does have an audio jack right in the front where you can plug in an external recording device to record audio to the camera. And if you listen closely, you can hear how loud the fan is. It's very noticeable. With saying all that, I do think it's a great camera. It is definitely a camera that I want in my bag at all times. So if something happens, I'm in the moment, and I need a stabilizer that is small and handy and shoots in a 4K resolution, I have one. But to note, I would buy extra batteries for this because the batteries do not last very long. And remember, you don't actually need your phone to record with this device. Your phone is just there for monitoring purposes only. So once you set your camera up and you set your frame rate and you set your resolution, you're ready to go. So this is the DJI Osmo. It's a really awesome gadget. Definitely one you want to keep in your bag. As always, please leave a comment and tell me what you think. Please like and subscribe, and feel free to check out my Instagram and Twitter. I try to keep up to date with my YouTube and all the other social media things that are out there. There's a lot to keep up with, let's be honest. So, I'm Max. Take care, and I'll catch you next time.